morning of day one, and 20% chance of rain turned into quite a bit more than 20%. Especially starting to slow down a little bit.
Just a light shower.
Oh yeah. A little baptizing before the tournament. So, yeah, see what happens here while the light gets up. And hopefully the sun will come out some. We'll be able to do some video later on. There you go. Australian bass. Nice. Good job. And you caught him on? Good jackal.
Here we go, Fabian with his first decent Australian bass. Is it going to make the boat? Oh yes, that's a nice one. Going down for the elite professional lift. Nice.
That's a fatty right there.
We'll take 2 of them tomorrow. Might be a pliers job.
Yeah, I can feel the razors behind the gills.
Gills there, sharp as.
Yeah.
That's a nice one. That's a good solid 2-pounder in American language, or a kilo in Australian language. Very nice fish indeed.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, and I hope you're enjoying the video from Australia. I can tell you the experiences that I've had have been great, starting with being able to hold a koala. Actually got to see a goanna swimming out in the lake, and the best experience, or I should say the weirdest, was actually having a Vegemite sandwich. I don't suggest it, but it's an experience. But anyway, I got invited by Steve Kanowski to participate in the Basstastic X Factor 2018 Teams event, and I can tell you that I enjoyed the trip immensely. Starting with the great Vegemite sandwich. Lucky for us, Steve had a pretty good hand at cooking us dinner, which was pretty tasty. On our way to the lake, we actually got to stop by Drew McGrath and Kelly's place for a nice lunch that they treated us to. Got to do a little fishing in their backyard as well. But anyway, we went out to the lake and practiced, as you can see the pictures previous to this, and this is actually the first day of the tournament. First spot that we stopped at, working our way into the back. The water temperature was probably in the mid 60s. It was actually springtime. You can see how beautiful this lake is. This is Lake Borumba. It is about 2.5 hours north of Brisbane. And the fishing was actually kind of tough. Some part of the lakes was a little bit dirty, as you can see there. But in our practice, we actually keyed in on finding a creek. The air was blowing into it, but the water happened to stay clear there. And we actually caught quite a few fish. Tried different baits. I went in with the mindset of trying some big mouth lure spinner baits. I was able to get some bites, but I guess because of the front that had come in, they'd shut down a little bit. They were really just kind of swimming up behind it and kind of slapping at it. Very hard to hook them up that way. And that's when I switched over to what Steve was throwing. Steve was throwing a blade bait, something that we use during the wintertime here, kind of on a vertical presentation. Except we're pitching them out over to the edge of the lily pads. The water there is about 12 feet deep. Lily pads at about 8-9 feet of water. And we just kind of worked down the slope to catch a fish. I can characterize the Australian bass, they're kind of like a giant white perch to me. They have a smaller mouth. They're very feisty. And I don't know if you've ever caught them. If you've caught a mean mouth before, it's kind of a combination between a smallmouth and a spotted bass. They're kind of like that. But as you can see, we're pitching these baits out. We're ripping them off the bottom, and we had a pretty good success. We were able to catch some of the bigger fish. Actually, there's 3 sessions to this tournament, and we lucked out thanks to Steve's knowledge of the lake. He's been here many a times. I'm sure he's won plenty of tournaments, and we were able to catch the biggest fish in each session of the tournament. I was warned that if I went out to the woods or anything, I was on my own. They said that around the public areas is nice, but you get out to the woods, things around here will eat you. But anyway, I had a great time, enjoyed the trip. That's one of the Daiichi baits that I was able to pick up at the Richmond show before I went up. And you can see the size of the fish. From what I understand, other lakes, bigger lakes, have much bigger fish. The fish here probably run 4 to 5 pounds, or some of the bigger ones. We didn't quite catch something that big, but we did catch enough to win the tournament. So that's one in the win column. That's actually called the yellow belly. They don't count, but I guess he had a fun catching that one. We actually caught, I want to say 15 fish each time we went out. Did not hear as much success from some of the other anglers, at least not size-wise anyway. We did hook up on one fish and lost it twice. Lost it in one session, lost it in the second session. Much bigger fish than what we weighed in, but unfortunately he got us wrapped up in a tree and couldn't get it out. I can tell you that Steve is a heck of a knowledgeable fisherman. I appreciate the invite. We look forward to possibly doing this again, maybe defending our championship next year. And coming up next, my next video is going to be in Spain. We actually are fishing the inaugural event of the FLW Pro Series that started up in June. See you there.